Hey there, thanks for watching Four Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and I'm here for another installment of my Atlas Seaboard retrospective. And this is causing me, I like this so far because this is causing me to have to take a much closer look at these series than I ever have before. And this week, we're looking at Morlock 2001. Now, here is the cover to issue 1, and it is actually it's an Al Milgrom cover. Now, I'll get into the art here in a moment by Al Milgrom, but it's an Al Milgrom cover with Dick Giordano inks, but also some Dick Giordano changes. If you go online, you can find different websites that have Milgrom's initial cover and the changes that Giordano made. But regardless of the strong Giordano influence on this cover, the art inside is hands down the best Al Milgrom art I've ever seen. He's inked by Jack Abel, which is a good, that helps. But here's the opening splash page of Morlock 2001 #1. About this book now, and I should say that there's always you should assume spoilers for these stories. They are old stories. I realize, however, many people probably haven't read them. Well, definitely many people haven't read them. And so just know there's going to be spoilers. However, this book, give you a look at some of the inside art. And I thought Morlock 2001 was a very interesting character. Not going to give away his origin so much, except to say that he is a plant-based character, a plant-based human, okay? And there's some more internal art, okay? I just really liked Al Milgrom's art here. And Jack Abel, Al Milgrom and Jack Abel, I don't know if they'd ever teamed up before, but they were a good match on this. I liked, though, the origin story. I liked it's set in, of course, what is very popular in sci-fi comics and movies, a dystopian future. And he is discovered, and, well, he's, I don't know what you call it, born, hatched, whatever. But anyway, Morlock 2001 has a very particular problem. A problem that's actually, I shouldn't say particular to a lot of characters in comic books. But he turns into a creature, besides being a plant-based man who has a very interesting power, which includes, touching someone and them being covered, dying basically by being covered in some type of mossy algae or something like that. But it just fungus. There you go. It's kind of a fungus-like thing, and it's very kind of creepy and cool. But also, he turns into a monster, and that monster that you've heard before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. If you've checked out the history of Atlas Seaboard, these books were quite a bit darker than anything that Marvel and DC was putting out there. Maybe not as much as maybe the horror-based books and the Witching Hour and some of the barbarian books, that kind of thing. Did I say Witching Hour? I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say something else. But anyway, you know what I mean. But they were quite a bit darker than any other superhero books. And so this one, Morlock would turn into a monster. I'll just go ahead and show you a picture of what he would turn into. And that's it on the splash page, the first splash page of issue number 2. That's what he would turn into. Now, he had no control over this monster, and whenever this monster showed up, it had to feed. And one of the points that sets up such amazing drama and in this book and such amazing conflict is that the monster is evil. Morlock is not. Morlock is a good person, wants to do good, wants to help people. The monster does not. And in fact, again, I told you there'd be spoilers, but one of his victims in this series actually happens in issue number 2, toward the end of issue number 2. One of his victims is none other than a little blind girl, okay? And of course, when he reverts back into a humanoid form, he's just devastated. But so you've got this great, again, here's issue number 2. Here's some more art. And now in this issue, I wasn't looking at sorry, I didn't let you know about the writers. Michael Fleischer wrote these first 2 issues, okay? Michael Fleischer. And then, as I said, Jack Abel inked Al Milgram's pencils in both. Okay, here's some panels from issue number 2. Okay, him fighting some other kind of plant-based creatures there, or moss-based creatures. Very cool stuff. Very dark, kind of scary, but just very entertaining. Again, I'm not finding now. I've barely scratched the surface of these Atlas books, mind you, but the ones I've read so far have not been total waste of time and have not been a total loss. But issue number 3 comes along, and as is the case with a lot of the final issues of these books, they did a bunch of changing and total change of the creative team completely. Gary Friedrich comes on as writer, and Steve Ditko with inks by Bernie Wrightson. Now you'd think that would be quite the art team, but Steve Ditko, really, Bernie was very light on the inks, I think, because it looks, I didn't even see, I looked at the creative team as an afterthought, and I was surprised to see that Bernie Wrightson inked Ditko's pencils, because it looks really almost pure Ditko, if not 95% Ditko anyway. And so you'd think, especially with a creepy comic like this, that Bernie wouldn't have been able to help himself and would have really made it look as much him as anything else. But it's very Ditko, okay? And but anyway, it's just a really stark change. I was enjoying the Milgram Abel art, and then open up to issue number 3, and I'm a Ditko fan, please don't misunderstand me, but if a comic is going well and you like the tone and you like the feel and the art and story all right on, well, even if it's a good artist, or even a great artist, as Ditko is, it's a jarring effect to open up the next issue, and the book have a totally different look. Now the only problem I found here, kind of an inconsistency. In issue number 2, just making you aware of it, in issue number 2, Morlock has a serum that he can take that keeps him from turning into this monster. And whenever he flees this place where he killed this little girl in monster form, when he was in his monster form, he killed this little blind girl, of all things. And the vial of serum that he had in his pocket, he lost it. He said it must have fallen out while he was, back at where he was staying. Well, on the second page of issue number 3, it shows back up again, there in his hand, and he only has just a little bit left, which was what his problem was before he lost it. So, a little bit, which you would expect something like that, I guess, a little more if there's a total creative team change between issues, but it was still a little sloppy. You'd think that teams would communicate with each other a little bit more, but maybe just another indicator of what kind of crazy place Atlas Seaboard was, especially during that time when things really were starting to come to an end. Unexpected for some, but also expected for a few. So anyway, again, I'm going to have to say it's still worth your money. No more than you'll pay for these. You can find these cheap. You can find them still find them in bargain boxes. I wouldn't go for them on eBay, because people tend to want as much as they can get out of them on eBay. A lot of them end up sitting there. But Morlock 2001 was a good read. I enjoyed it. Even the third issue, even though it kind of took a big kind of a right turn. They introduced the Midnight Men, and then they were starting to go with the story of people rising up against the dystopian government. So, but anyway, changed the whole feel of the book. But again, it's worth getting because, of course, a couple of the things about Atlas Seaboard, some may be wondering why. I've mentioned, I think, on every one of these videos in some way, shape, or form, it's worth it because it's an interesting chapter in comic book history. Something that you may not know about the Atlas Seaboard company was they were the first company to, across the lines, across every book, they were offering. First of all, they were offering better page rates than Marvel and DC. I've heard everything from 30% more to 100% more. You know, I don't know exactly if, you know, who remembers. It probably only the people who went right from Marvel, or had just worked for Marvel going to Atlas, or from DC going to Atlas, but who knows. But they were offering a larger page rate. They were also offering to give all original artwork back to artists, even though that did not, again, when the company collapsed, that did not happen in every case. But also they were promising, you know, creators' rights. And so it definitely made no longer than Atlas Seaboard lasted. It definitely made ripples within the comics community. And so interesting history there. Just an interesting company. And I think what they turned out, it was different enough for the time to be really kind of fascinating, even if some of it fell flat, especially toward the end. But anyway, that's Morlock 2001. I do encourage you to seek it out. And I think more people ought to be collecting these Atlas Seaboard books. They're worth it. They're fun. And, you know, it's kind of a good time. And I'll say it again. Even these are better than most of what is offered in new comics out there today. So there you go. Anyway, Morlock 2001. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another Atlas Seaboard book for your perusal. And don't forget to subscribe, subscribe, and comment. Absolutely, definitely comment. If you do nothing else, do that. And thanks for watching 4Color Comics.